now make their way towards us, and in behind will be these 4 gorgeous carriages. This timeless tradition, this timeless passage through heritage, really. It remains, doesn't it, Bruff, an iconic symbol of British tradition. Look at that.
If you think of it, of all the images of Britain, of some historical, continue Westminster Abbey and something, the image we're seeing now is one of the things that you absolutely can only associate with Britain. And it's only in Britain you see this, and only at Ascot where it happens.
And Camilla Pocabon, the Queen, the first carriage.
The right turn through the Golden Gates onto the racecourse itself. 20 years ago, they were going up the straight at York. The green coach there, all part of the tradition. And Charlotte, talk us through who is in the first carriage this afternoon.
In the first carriage, we have the King, the Queen, Prince Faisal bin Salman Al Saud and the Lady Sarah Keswick. Now, Prince Faisal bin Salman Al Saud, member of the Saudi royal family, owns Belgrave Bloodstock, a thoroughbred racing and breeding operation here in the UK. And the Lady Sarah Keswick, who is one of the Queen's oldest friends. They've known each other since the 1970s, and she's one of the Queen's companions. She herself a keen horse lover, and I did read a report that she jointly owned a horse with Queen Camilla. Actually, they're often seen together at events, and I know that she went to Balmoral at the beginning of the year, and apparently a friend said that she's good at making the King laugh. I understand she's got a good sense of humour.
And Lady Sarah is married to Chips Keswick, the late Chips Keswick, horse race owner, Bruff, former Arsenal chairman, actually played football with his son many moons ago. Sports fanatic, and lovely to see Lady Sarah in the first carriage today.
Yes, and Prince Faisal's brothers were very involved too. I remember Prince Ahmed had a very good horse called Leofan all those years ago, and he himself had 29 years ago he had a filly called Last Second who was just beaten here at the meeting and won 2 good races after that. So he's got a professorial academic background, but he's got a racing background too.
And Lady Sarah in Arsenal red today. Do you have to hold on to your hats a little bit? It is breezy today.
You do, I know, and I think that's the thing about those carriages, actually. The low sides are obviously excellent for people being able to get a good view of the royal party, but at the same time it does mean you don't have much protection from the elements. Luckily they only have to cope with a bit of a breeze and the sun this year, but it means you have to hold on to the hat.
So here's this clever moment from the royal party, 200 years on, from the first Duke of Wellington, the hero of Waterloo, riding in the first carriage with George IV in a spectacle designed by his brother, William Wellesley, who held the office of Master of the Buckhounds, which is effectively the office that Sir Francis Brooke holds now as the King's representative here at Ascot. The 9th Duke of Wellington is in carriage too.
It's really rather lovely, isn't it? The Duke and Duchess of Wellington there alongside Princess Royal and Mrs. Annabel Elliot as well. And I just love that, you know, that sort of nod to the history of it at the same time, isn't it? The Duke and Duchess of Wellington are among the King and Queen's inner circle. They're part of a tight-knit social set, and they've been friends for many years. The Princess Royal, of course, she has a long connection with the horse world. Former Olympic equestrian herself, competed in the 1976 Olympics in the 3-day event. And don't forget, she was hospitalised, wasn't she, earlier this year after an incident with a horse. It's good to see her back in fine form today. And Mrs. Annabel Elliot, who is Camilla's younger sister, Annabel, an interior designer, a close confidant of the Queen, and she's designed many times for the King, including at Dumfries House as well.
She's remarkable, the Princess Royal, Bruff. You'll know her well. You were chairman of the Injured Jockeys Fund for many years. She was the patron of the charity. Kept you on your toes, I imagine.
She is extremely good at absorbing information. She can go out and she can sum something up and speak extempore, but 5 minutes summing something up really well. She's much more than just a hard worker. She's an amazing woman, and she's one of the few people who on the carriage who've actually ridden up the track. She's raced on the track. But King Charles, would have ridden up the track as a boy, because they all used to gallop up the track before racing.
Can you imagine?
It's a tradition I want to revive.
To carriage 3 we go, which is a real nod to the Queen's Reading Room, which we talked about, that quiet corner to pause and reflect that Charlotte referred to.
Yes.
A charity dedicated to promote the benefits and power of reading, a nod to that in carriage 3.
There is. So here we have Mr. Peter Phillips, Mrs. Harriet Spurling, Mr. Anthony Horowitz and Mrs. Anthony Horowitz. Peter Phillips, of course, Princess Anne's son, the King's nephew. He did used to ride himself until age 16 or so, but apparently Zara won't let him ride her horses anymore, so he's not able to currently. Mrs. Harriet Spurling is his partner, an NHS nurse, a freelance writer, and they made their public debut together last year at Badminton Horse Trials. And Mr. and Mrs. Anthony Horowitz, he is, of course, the famous author. He and Queen Camilla have this connection through the Queen's Reading Room, this charity dedicated to celebrating reading.
His carriage 4, we'll quickly name them, because this is a nod to the next generation, isn't it?
It is indeed. So this is Mr. Henry Morton Jack, the Lady Joanna Morton Jack, the Lord Vestey and Lady Vestey. Lady Joanna is the daughter of the Earl and Countess of Halifax, and Lord and Lady Vestey, of course, carrying on that family tradition.
Now, down in amongst it, where are you, Rishi?
And I'm down by the 2 furlong pole with members from the Ascot Heath Primary School. Lewis and Anya, what's this experience like for you, Lewis?
Very exciting.
You were here last year, is it as good?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, the King and Queen just going past. Give a little wave. Mrs. Hunter is here, by the way, to get the cheering going for everyone. And you can just about see, just on the stand behind me, there's actually someone in the royal colours. But we're all cheering for the King and Queen and the royal procession down here by the 2 furlong pole.
Absolutely love that, I must say. Really good. And now you'll see the different enclosures. Windsor enclosure furthest left, where the early bird ticket was 25 quid. And that will then become the Queen Anne enclosure, and then further right will be the Royal enclosure. Let's talk a little bit more about the 4th carriage there. Charlotte, the Vesteys.
Yes.
Will's dad Sam was forever be associated with Cheltenham and owning really good horses. You must have known Will's dad, Lord Vestey, Sam.
Yeah, again, because I'm the same age, I knew him very well because he lived quite near me. So I knew
What a
him.
bigger house he had.
He had a big house. Actually, back in those days, we had quite a big house. It's not a hotel. Things have rather shrunk in the Scott family since. There we are.
That must be the ITV wages, bruv. Right, and there's also Henry Morton Jack from Yorkshire with his wife, Lady Joanna, known as Moogie. We often see Lord and Lady Halifax, and I'm sure they'll be involved this week as well. I'm sure they had a horse called Moogie at some point. Might be retired now, but I'm sure that was the case. And there is the royal enclosure now. They are passing with the King and Queen in that first carriage.
And let's
famous paddock, get their first glimpse of the royal procession. And it all feels and looks so much better in the sunshine.
It does. We've been very lucky with the weather. It's going to get hotter and hotter this week, isn't it? But I love the fact, you know, everyone crowding there to catch a glimpse of the royal family. I heard a description of Andrew Lloyd Webber, actually. He said every box, every stand, every blade of grass is full of people watching the procession. I mean, you can just see the sense of pageantry here. It is just extraordinary, isn't it?
Let's try and remember what we do as they come past us right now. Often we have to wait for the 3 cheers. Bruff is telling me to take my top hat off. Thank you for tipping me off there, Bruff. Henry Dwyer, who trains Asfiora last year, talked about the buzz he got from winning the King Charles III, but he says he got the protocols completely wrong.
Yeah, I saw that.
With the King and Queen. And he might be seeing them again later. Asfiora well fancied to retain her title in the King Charles III, one of our 3 Group 1s this afternoon. So the weighing room's on the right there, and the reception party is on the left. Sir Francis Brooke will greet His Majesty the King. He is the representative here at Ascot, also the chairman. Here, a lovely touch from Sir Francis today. He's wearing a tie that used to belong to Sir Thomas Pilkington, who died not so long ago at the age of 90. A lovely touch. We'll see for Sir Francis in just a moment. There he is on the right. In that tie I talk about, the Pilkingtons, absolute racing royalty themselves. Sir Francis, a Cheltenham Festival winning owner, Chianti Classico. Sir Francis greets Her Majesty the Queen. And then Lady Sarah Keswick. And Prince Faisal bin Salman Al Saud. And then His Majesty. Part of the carriage. He often wants to see the horses, talk to people. And then it's time to meet the reception line, as always in recent years. Harry Morley and Lady Selina Carter, trustees here on the board, and then